even need alcohol for God's sake. Oh
Ah,
my gosh.
what a
Okay.
day.
Hi,
Oh,
Lee.
goodness.
How
Hello,
you doing?
everybody. I'm good. How you
Oh
doing?
my gosh. I'm losing my voice because I got to tell you a story. First of all, and you're coughing because you've got some disease or something. I don't know what's going on with you now.
Oh gosh. Well, I have bronchitis.
Okay.
And
Not happy.
it has not been fun. It's going on 3 weeks now. Um, Antibiotics, prednisone,
Mm-hmm.
and some
Ooh,
allergy stuff. But
okay.
um, what are you gonna do? I'm coughing every 2 minutes, so I apologize in advance. But real funny. Um, Helen has her story. I was having video problems.
No, your
Just
story's
so you
funny.
all know, I was unplugging what I thought was my video to fix it, and I was unplugging my headset. My video camera was still lit up. I thought somebody was like watching me. So 5 minutes before the show, this is what we were doing. We should really do like a blooper. We should video that and share that with everybody so everybody can see what we do 5 minutes before the show starts.
I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
actually.
Now
So
you tell me your story.
I have earned my place in heaven today. Now, a lot of you might not know this, but I feed feral cats outside. I feed 5 feral cats. Now, this I didn't start to feed 5 feral cats. I only started out to feed one because this one cat was eating the birds in my yard, and I was walking out into my front yard, and it looked like the killing fields. Okay, fine. So I said, I'm just going to feed this one cat. So I feed this one cat, and this other cat tells the other cats, hey, go to Helen's house. She's got good food. Okay, fine. So now I'm up to 5 feral cats. And here's the thing. It's starting to get a little cold up here. It's been windy. The temperature's starting to go down. It's in the 60s and 70s now instead of the god awful humidity that we had, a few weeks ago. And so today, a very good friend of mine, Linda, and I put together 5 feral cat houses, outdoor cat houses, and I I have breathed in straw dust, I think, because I keep coughing. But
Uh,
here, yeah, yeah. But here's the thing. Do you know how big a bale of hay is?
like poundage?
No, it's huge. It's about 3 feet tall and about 2 feet wide.
Oh
And I
yeah?
figured, yeah, I figured I'm going to need a lot of hay for these houses, for these cat houses. I made 5. Okay.
You had too
So
much hay, didn't you?
I have so much hay. I don't know what to do with my hay. Hay, hay, hay. I've got hay up the wazoo. But the cat houses are done, and they're going to go outside tomorrow. Of course, it's raining, and it's raining and windy here tonight. But
Yeah.
I didn't have time to do it. But anyway, this is I am earning my place in heaven because now the cats are going to be safe. I feed them all day,
Yeah.
and now they're going to be going outside. But if anybody needs hay that's local, I got it. I got a bale of hay unopened, and I would say half a bale of hay. So
That's
good
pretty
for
funny.
me. Yeah. Hi, Jace. Hi, Jace. Hi, Susan. Hi, Beth. Hi, Karen. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But
Thank you for
tonight,
joining. Yeah,
yeah,
tonight.
go ahead.
No. Um, it is long distance relationships, and if anybody's been in it besides myself and Helen, share your story if you're willing. Long distance relationship is not for the faint of heart, I think, anyway. From
No,
it's just you gotta be a strong person for that. But I have a scenario for you, Helen.
I'm ready.
Okay. So you're in your first magical year of a new relationship. You got butterflies and all. But you find out your partner still maintains a close friendship with their ex, and they often chat and meet for coffee. How do you navigate your feelings and address the situation without seemingly overly possessive or insecure? What boundary would you set? Tell me your thoughts.
Are you kidding me? Are you get No.
I got two scenarios.
Okay.
That's one of
All right.
them. That's
All
a
right.
good one because it
It is a
happens.
good one.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Okay. Staying in touch. If uh, that's
It's a tough one, I know. That's why I
it.
chose it.
Yeah, well, thanks.
I have to thank Becky for sharing this with me so I
Yeah,
can.
thanks, Becky. Good. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Lisa was going to read me the scenario beforehand. I said, "No, don't do that. Let be extemporaneous and just off the cuff." Now I don't know what to say. So good for me because we do go over everything before we start the show for a half an
Yeah.
hour. We review and everything. So, and I wish I had done it tonight. Good for me. Okay.
Or we can let
I
somebody else share too, if you want a minute, what their
no.
thoughts are. It's up to you. You go first.
I would try to be a grown up about it.
Mhm.
If it was too much time, that would not work for me at all.
Yeah.
I would expect him to say, "Hey, I'm having dinner with so and so tonight. Would you like to meet her?" Something like that. As long as it wasn't secretive and it was upfront and above board,
Yeah.
I think I would be okay with it. But I can't be honest about it. I mean, I can be honest about it. I don't know how cool I would be with it, but I would try to be a grown up and say,
Yeah.
Okay. But
It's a
it
tough one.
wouldn't thrill. It wouldn't thrill me. Well, how about you? How would you feel about
You know, I I
it? You
I
see?
it's mixed. It's mixed. I mean, I've
Yeah.
experienced this. I mean, with,
Hmm.
he's lived in Florida and I've lived in New York and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even when he's come to New York and I was in New York, he has friends who are women. I really do feel, part of it is um you have to be mature about it, but you have to be realistic. Like you have to really take a step back and say, okay, like, really what is going on? If it's just coffee, it's a one-time thing, that's not a big deal. But if it's a habit,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, well, why? Then I would want to know, okay, well, what's the reasoning? You know, um, i- if there's any confusion as to which way he wants to go, maybe he's having second thoughts. I'm not there, he's not here, whatever the case may be, because it's a distance, it's long
Right.
distance love. But I
Well,
definitely think you have to have a conversation about it, even if it's a hard conversation, and just be really open about it.
Well, I think one of the hardest things about having a long distance relationship is you don't know what somebody else is up to. And I have read that long distance relationships can even be stronger than
Hmm.
in person relationships because you are talking to them on a more deciding to be on a more trustworthy level that you're opting to trust this person about this stuff.
Yep.
But again, I think it would be hard. I think it would be very difficult
Yeah.
because there's so many components to a long distance relationship. First of all, how what's a long distance relationship to you?
Not in the same state.
Oh gosh, well that was you and Danny. Oh, okay, yeah.
Even if you're in the same state, but you're like a few hours away from each other, that's still kind of long distance. I mean, you got to travel to get to that person.
I would say anything more than 2 hours away for me is long distance. It's like no,
State of
and at this
confusion.
and yeah figures. Um, but at this point in my life, more than an hour away, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And somewhere along the line, we're going to talk about online dating, and people have said you wouldn't travel to here or to there to meet them. It's like no, you've got to be at the most an hour away. Otherwise, thank you, no. Mary said, "You've never had." Well, that's good because I don't think they're easy. And I had a long distance relationship. The guy lived on Long Island, then he moved back to California. And there were red flags that I chose to ignore that I would always go to California. But then I'm thinking Orange County, okay, Long Island, Orange County, Long Island. I opted because I liked California, but it just kind of faded away and didn't work out. But I
So
think they're really
you
hard.
moved to California for
No,
a period?
no.
Oh no, you didn't.
Actually, he asked me to move, and I said I can't move without a commitment. And he said, I can't do that. And it's like, well, then I pick up everything and leave, and not even with a commitment from you.
I
So I
don't like
didn't
that.
go.
I don't like him. I'm glad it didn't work out. Sorry.
I'm glad too. Thank you, Lisa. Girl
I don't
power.
like him. I don't
Yeah.
like him at all. Here's another one. It's kind of similar.
Hmm.
You've started to get the uneasy feeling that your partner might not be sharing the whole truth about a particular situation. There's no concrete evidence, just a gut feeling and some inconsistencies in their stories. How do you approach the conversation without accusing or creating unnecessary tension? It's kind of similar to the other one, but now it's different. You're feeling like something's not right. Is he telling me the whole story or is she telling me the whole story? And I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but yet want to approach them. Or do you
Well,
just let it go?
no, I don't let anything go. That's my problem. So I'm like da 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 da. But oh, Anna says never been in a long distance relationship. However, if I were in one, that person definitely would have to be worth it. You got that
Absolutely.
right, sister. Absolutely. But or okay, where was I now? Because I was reading Anna's thing.
You wouldn't let it
Nice
go.
to see you, Anna. No,
You
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
let
let
it
it
go. You
go.
would talk about it.
Okay, I would talk about it. But here's the thing about a long distance relationship. Okay, if you're talking on the phone or maybe doing a Zoom call or a WhatsApp or something, you still can't read somebody's body language or anything like that.
Nope.
And if you can't read their body language or even the tone of their voice, I have to be careful with the tone of my voice because I have some kind of cadence to it or an edge to it where I could be saying something and somebody would be like, "What did you just say?" I have to be careful. And
Yeah.
okay, Anna, relationships are based on trust. If either
Yep.
party doesn't trust each other, then all bets are off.
Yep.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yep.
But what do you do when that there is that little niggling thing, especially when it's a long distance relationship? How do you approach it? How do you say it on the phone? Well, I've been feeling a little insecure lately. I feel this is something I need to address. This might be a little awkward for me or awkward for you. How do you approach that? What do you
I would
say?
wait till you're there. I would wait until you're together.
All right. Well, here's another thing. On a long distance relationship, how often do you see each other? Twice a month?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
depends. And
And
in the begin from my experience, with Danny
hmm
and myself, it was a couple of times a month. First, it was like once a month, then it was a couple of time a month. A week here, a few days there. Then it'd be
hmm
like a week and a half, and then later on a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer.
yeah.
Um, we did that for many, many years. And
Okay.
here's what I think and what I've learned and what I find. Okay. And it doesn't just go for long distance relationships, it's for any relationship that you're going to get involved with somebody. You
hmm
have to be happy within yourself first before you can bring on another human being, because that human being is not there to make you happy. You have to be happy first. So if you're not a strong person and you're not happy within yourself, and that means like doing things on your own, being alone at times, being with your friends where you live, and doing all those things, then you shouldn't
Right.
really invite somebody else to share your life with you. Because if everything is going to be like, what are they doing? If you're going to always be curious about what they're doing or what they're not doing,
hmm
you have insecurities within yourself and you're not happy within yourself. That's my thought. That's my opinion.
Well,
Doesn't mean it's right.
I agree with you there, but I think a long distance relationship kind of heightens the, for lack of a better way to say it, a neediness of, hey, what are you doing today? Where are you going? Who are you going with? All that kind of stuff. It can make somebody needy because you also get lonely. If you really are into that person, you get lonely for that person, and that can breed resentment. I've always heard the phrase "absence makes the heart grow fonder."
It does.
Absence, no, absent
I
makes the
think
heart grow madder. Here, I was like, hey, where
no.
are you?
When
Yeah.
I will tell you this, when I was on Long Island, I would go out. I went to the movies by myself. I would go eat
Did you
lunch by
really?
myself. I would people watch.
Hmm.
Like I love alone time. I don't need it's lovely. And in the beginning, like, you miss each other a lot. But I
Mm-hmm.
think part of it is, and just from experience and doing a little extra reading on it the last week or so, um,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, create some fun with the long distance texting, the morning text. You have to, you know, um, let that person know that you're being thought about. So
Okay.
send them a text in the morning. Good morning. I hope that your day is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's chat later after lunch or something like that. Do video calls. Be kinky if you want to be kinky. Be fun,
Mm-hmm.
eat lunch on FaceTime while they're eating lunch. Things like that. You have to be creative with what you do and how you do it, you know?
Well, talk about being creative. Karen just said phone sex. And it's like,
Sure.
whoa, why
Whatever
not?
floats your boat.
Yeah, what
Whatever floats.
sexting? What the heck? But I also think with long distance relationships, I mean, mine faded. It just kind of faded away because, it was 3,000 miles away. And,
Yeah, that's a
I,
distance.
yeah, well, I made more of an effort than he did. And I certainly, you see that now when you're in a relationship, somebody can tell you, you're going to hit a brick wall. You're going to schmoosh yourself up when you hit that brick wall. You're going to hit that brick wall. As your dearest friends, you're going to hit that brick wall. And you say, yeah, I know. And you will plow right into that brick wall because you're not going to listen and you're going to go with your heart.
Yeah.
And I've got scars up here from hitting those brick walls, but it's just, it just is what it is. Susan says
Fa-
FaceTime is a game. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Sorry. FaceTime is a game changer for anyone in a long distance relationship. I agree. And
Well,
we've fallen
mm,
asleep with the FaceTime on. Like if it's late
get
at
out.
night, at the end of the day, you're tired, yeah, you fall asleep.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. But here's another thing. I'm poking holes in everything tonight just because what now you also have to remember, um, say you want to talk to somebody, they're in a different time zone. So that's difficult. Or sometimes technology isn't reliable either because
Yeah.
the phone can go out. Oh, my battery's dying. Hey, I love you, but okay. And
Yeah.
that happens. Or like we had before, sometimes, the technology just won't work. Hi,
Yeah.
Nina. How you doing? Um,
Hello.
but okay, what does Karen say? I FaceTime with my son every day, and that keeps
Hmm.
us connected. Absolutely,
Yeah.
but I just I wouldn't do it again. I really wouldn't do it again unless it was George Clooney. I won't do it again. That's all I have to say. But there's another thing that when you're far apart from somebody and
Hmm.
you're lonely,
Hmm.
you can be tempted. You can be tempted to meet somebody or do something stupid. And, uh, even if you're trusting somebody, sometimes that loneliness might just overtake you. And, you might do something that you're going to regret,
You know,
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship with a mature human being,
Oh, well, there's that.
I would hope though that if there is that temptation or
Right. Hmm.
curiosity, that they
Yeah.
would just say, listen, you know, it's too
Hmm.
hard. I don't want to do this. I'm going to go
Hmm.
another way. And if that's the case, have that open, honest discussion so you're not wasting everybody's time. You have to know if you're
Yeah.
going to be in this long distance relationship, you want to know, well, what's the end game? Is there a future?
Oh, yeah.
If
Hmm.
if I knew there wasn't going to be a future, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be. I would have done a few things differently. I think, looking back
Hmm.
now, I learned a lot through the years.
Hmm.
Definitely have experience with it. We did
Well,
that for a long time.
Lori says the relationship has to be really strong before it goes long distance or it can easily fade. Yes, that's what happened to me. And Nina says, hi, Nina. My past in a long distance relationship was personally when I was at my most vulnerable. there was a safety to it. I do believe it can work for others who are not hiding behind fear and security like I was. Absolutely. You're
Yeah.
hitting the nail on the head,
Yep.
really. But was I vulnerable when I had my no, I was just a pain in the ass. But anyway, that's beside the point. That's beside the point. But here's another thing about long distance relationships.
Mhm.
Sometimes, okay, um, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, and
Okay.
anybody else who's been in long distance relationship. Do you know what I just did? I just looked over the comment section like there were actual faces. Said you over there at the comment section. Okay, here's the thing. Um, when you're in a long distance relationship and you're going to see, your significant other and everything is primped, powdered, pressed, shaved, hair done, nails done, everything's great. And you're there for a long weekend and it's all great. And it's like a honeymoon. Then you go back home to the dirty dishes and walking the dog and bringing down the garbage. And then 2 weeks later, you go do the honeymoon thing again because you're not worried about somebody picking up somebody's dirty socks or cleaning the toilet bowl or anything else. Sometimes I think it's not really until somebody lives together, gets married. I don't think it's a um, really a realistic relationship because you're in a honeymoon phase. You don't want to waste any time. You just want to do fun things. You just want to enjoy each other. You just want to have a great time.
Mhm.
So sometimes I think, that's not the, pardon me, straw dust. Um, it's, I'm telling you. Uh, but I don't think that's the best thing either because um, it's just you just having a good time. It's not real life. And there's a question from Mary for you,
Yeah, I
actually.
saw I put
Yeah.
that up. I saw.
Okay.
But before I answer Mary's question,
Hmm.
I mean, it really depends on where you see the relationship going. Is it that if that's all you both want, if you're realistic about that, the fun, the honeymoon stuff, the back and
Hmm.
forth long distance, you're going to stay where you live, he's going to stay where he lives. If that worked for you and you were content with that, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it wasn't, something that you wanted more and you
Hmm.
wanted something more solid, then I could see, and does this even make sense? Then I could see that, well, this is fun for, this week. Now I go home, go home to the dishes, do my thing, and then I go back for fun time, and then I'm going back. It's like, the back and forth. If you're in it for the fun, in other words,
Hmm.
and you're content with that, and that's how you want to live your life, then why wouldn't that be okay?
Because okay, Denise says totally agree, Helen. That's the scary part. Would full time be different? I would tend to think full time would be different. Um, And I think in a relationship, don't you think a lot of times somebody wants more than the other person at different times in the courtship part of the relationship? And we're talking about the courtship part. We're not talking about the married part, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
So I just I don't know. I don't know that I would do it again only because I almost feel like there'd be pressure that we have to make the most of this limited time together. We can't argue. We can't talk about serious things. We can't waste time, not waste time, but we can't touch on things that might ruin the weekend because we just want to
Mm,
have that good time.
hmm.
So I don't know. I really don't know. I think long distance relationships are really hard. I really
Yeah,
do. But
yeah.
okay,
So
answer
Mary,
yeah,
yeah.
answer that question.
Um, Pretty fast, actually, Mary. I don't know if you know the story. With Danny and I, it's a little different because we grew up together. I was his second grade crush. We did not have the same circle of friends. My aunt actually dated his uncle when we were like 7 or 8. Okay, so we grew up on Long Island together. We were friends, but we never connected. We never hung out. I was very shy back then compared to now. Um, Fast forward, He went and had a life, children. I got pregnant at 16 and had a life, children, married, all that stuff. It wasn't until 30 something years later. He was somebody that I always wondered about, and he always called me my Lisa. He just had this really crazy crush on me when we were little. And then when he came to Long Island, you know, we would meet for coffee and stuff like that, and we connected. We were pretty serious pretty fast, emotionally and hanging out and coffee and all that good stuff. So there was a little bit of a history there. It wasn't like two people that just met and he's going back to Florida and we're going to start a relationship. So there's a little bit of a connection beforehand, um, probably within months. Okay. And then really over the first few years, we would just do the visits. And it was hard. It was hard to leave Long Island and go, and it was hard to leave Florida and go back. Um, w- would I do that again? Yes, but I would do it a little bit differently. How differently? I don't know, because I will never be in that position again, and not something I'm really willing to think about right now. But
Hmm.
I think you do have to be a special person. You have to be with a special person. You are going to argue. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be wondering a lot. Okay. For anybody that is out there thinking about it or just going through this or has gone through this, um, you're going to probably have so many different emotions on every single level. But I think the most important part is to talk about them before you even begin. So you talk about, um, get the jealousy out of the way if there's any jealousy. Talk about it. Talk about all the hard stuff, the financial responsibilities, the flights, the car rides, all of it. Talk about it,
Yeah, that can
because
be.
yeah,
That's a drawback because that's expensive. That can
yep,
get quite expensive.
yep,
And, you know, if he's really interested, he should be paying
yeah,
for your flight. Just
yep,
saying.
yep,
Remember that one. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah.
And there were times when I didn't. I'm not crazy about flying. I do fly. Still not crazy about it, but there were times when like winter break and my youngest would come visit and he would want a vacation in Florida for, especially the first time. I drove from Florida to New York to pick him up because he never flew before. Drove back from New York to Florida for his week. After the week was over, drove back to New York to bring him home, and then went back to Florida for a few extra days and then drove back to New York again, all in like a week, week and a half. I've done it
That's a good mama.
for love of
That's a
Danny
good
and for my
mama.
son. Yeah, I did that twice. Danny thought I was out of my mind. He's like, "You're what?" I'm like, "Yeah, he doesn't want to fly yet."
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
that's okay. I
yeah,
think that's very sweet, actually, Lisa. I
yeah.
really do. I think that's very kind and very sweet. I'm not a good flyer either, but would I fly for love? Maybe. Maybe. I can't say 100%, but
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
wouldn't you wouldn't if you were in a position if different circumstance, maybe it was somebody that wasn't like, you know, in California, maybe they were just like New Jersey. And there was somebody that you really were interested in. You never know. You can't say never.
New Jersey, I would probably do New Jersey. I would
Yeah.
probably do, yeah, not South Jersey, though, North Jersey. Um, I probably, oh my God. You know, for those of you who came on late, I put together
Yeah.
5 cat houses today, and I breathed in straw dust, and that's why
Hmm.
I'm coughing. Earn my place in heaven. But anyway,
What about, only because I've experienced this, Helen,
what?
um, part of long distance relationship, especially if it's a second relationship or third relationship, whatever, and there's children involved, and you're home
Ah,
and
mm-hmm.
your partner, they have their kids and stuff like that, and scheduling visits and introducing what? Oh, I spent
Um,
hours on the Belt Parkway or Lucky Kitties.
well, Deb Phillips says, I think the distance over time would become an issue. I agree
Mhm.
with you, Deb. Karen says, lucky kitties. You damn right on that one.
Yeah.
Denise spends hours on the Belt Parkway. Yes, I know. And Jim Goldfuss, a good friend of mine, says, you find the person, I'll fly you there. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to
Love it.
hold you to that. Thank you. And Mary says, I guess South Jersey is called geographically undesirable. Listen, if I have to drive 15 minutes past any place, it's geographically undesirable. I hate driving. So
Oh,
I,
boy.
I dated a guy that for some reason I would always be driving. I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
I can't stand to drive. Jim, thank you. I'm going to hold you to it. Thank you. And I'm still want to. I still Jim is a pilot, obviously,
Yeah.
and you
I wish
know,
I would have known that, Jim.
yeah, there you go. But there's one advantage for a long distance relationship and alone time. I
Yes.
like alone time. I like my own time. And
Yep.
sometimes I think when I get involved with somebody again, I don't
Aw.
know if I could live with them or something like I like my alone time.
But see,
Oh,
that's just the thing. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I'm
thanks, Jim.
gonna hold
Hmm.
you to it.
Yeah.
Um, but that's
I
just the
don't,
thing. That is a bonus, alone
yes.
time.
Well, the whole now I'm gonna go another way. Okay, long distance relationship. See ya. Have a good week.
Yeah.
There are two sides to the coin. I said all the obstacles that could be coming in for a long distance relationship, and then there's the other side, which is
Mhm.
I'm good. Have a great week. See you next week, where you are in the honeymoon phase and you are comfortable being on your own and you are comfortable having your own life and your own friends and
Mhm.
every once in a while the twain shall meet where he might have, I meet his friends, he meets my friends. But
Mhm.
the independence, I think, sometimes is very important.
Yeah.
Okay. Deb Killeen, what's the end game? I have no clue, Deb. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. And Mary says, I think as we get older, we know ourselves better and value that alone time. Yes, I agree. And Thomas says, agree, Helen, you get used to that alone time, but nice to hook up with that person periodically. Well, what do you mean by hook up, though, TJ? I'm not, I mean, I don't want to hook up with anybody, or do I? I don't know. I don't know.
But
Um,
there's nothing wrong with that. So you just
no.
haven't, if you know going into that type of relationship that it's just that, and there doesn't have to be an end game.
Well, now you're talking about friends with benefits.
Well, yeah, that's fine too. Or maybe you go into the long distance relationship and both of you have that conversation that you do your thing at home and he does his thing, and then you meet up from time to time. How do you feel about that? Or is that a whole different show, people?
I don't think that's such a I don't think that's such a bad thing. I don't. I'm going to give you an interesting statistic, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but you'll all find it interesting. In the United States, 20% of married couples sleep in separate bedrooms because either one of the spouses snore,
Mhm.
toss and turn, throw the covers on, throw the covers off, turn the air on, turn the air off, and they have their own bedrooms. They get together to uh,
Rendezvous.
hook up, rendezvous periodically, but they have separate bedrooms. And it's called also sleep divorce. And I thought that was very interesting that
Yeah.
for people who like their independence, married,
Yeah.
and they say, you have your bedroom, I have my bedroom, we can get
Mhm.
together to la, 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 la. But then you go, okay, good night, and then go away.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
See, I like that. Thomas says, get together for things in life, concerts, dinners, parachuting. Kidding on the parachuting.
I'm glad you're
Well, that
kidding on
might
the
be fun.
parachuting.
Listen, I will tell you about
Okay.
the bedroom thing. So,
Yes.
Danny and I went to a hotel, it was like 2 years ago. And the hotel, it had two queen beds. So that was the first
Mhm.
time we experienced going to a hotel with two separate beds. And I was
Mhm.
like, this is actually really cool. I even posted on Facebook about it. And I'm like, think about Ricky and Lucy.
Mhm.
They were fine, obviously it was back in the day. But like you can do whatever you want in your own bed. You can lay diagonal, you have room, they're
Mhm.
there. He wants to
Uh-huh.
come visit me, that's fine. I can go visit him, that's fine. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And for a hot minute, we thought about getting two separate beds for our bedroom. We didn't do it, but I think there's something to that. Having your own space, you can
Mhm.
cuddle when you want, and then be
Mhm.
done.
It's very interesting that uh, people who say that they have their separate bedrooms, and Mary says, we
Yeah.
do. I love my queen bed, and my bedroom is my zen den. I visit Lou before sleeping. Okay. Well, so there you have it. But people have said it has made their marriage better because when they're in the bed together, like and they're crowded, they nudge each other, wake each other, snoring, the whole 9 yards and things like
Yeah.
that. So I think
Yep.
that could be very interesting. But
And we have two English bulldogs on the bed with us.
oh well, I
Yeah.
have the cat who the
Yeah.
cat is now on the kitchen table and she's looking at me like it's TREAT time. No, no, she's sitting on the newspapers though. She's not on the table. Otherwise, I'd have to squirt her. But anyway, plus I do snore. Yeah, I've been told I snore, but I don't believe it because if I don't hear me, how do I know they're not making it up when I tell them that they snore? So there you go. So whatever.
You should put a
Anyway,
little camera on before you go to bed. You should do that tonight and report back to us next Monday.
really,
Now we all
yeah.
want to know if you snore.
I probably do, but I don't think it's an ugly snore the way, men snore.
I think you
Um,
should just say, no, I don't snore. And that be that. Yeah.
now, also, they, I have read and researched that long distance relationships tend to have stronger communication,
Yes.
which I found interesting because I believe if you can't read somebody's body language or, really see them in the eyes, can a long distance relationship be long term? Deb asks. I think
Yes.
so, but I don't know if I would want that. But then again, I just sang the praises of being independent and being on my own. So, I don't know which end is up really. But all right, what was I just talking about? Good. Lisa.
I'm on antibiotic. I'm a mess.
Okay, well
I'm
then it's totally gone.
I'm
I
a
hate when
mess.
that happens. All right, well, don't worry
Um,
about it.
no,
But
what I was gonna say is, what about,
mhm,
and this is something just because I experienced this, and it's a good thing to talk about before we end.
what?
The doubters, the people, the naysayers that say, "Oh, it's never going to work." You got people chirping in your ear, your friends, mutual
Hmm.
friends, family, like, "How are you
Sure.
going to make this work? What are you thinking? This is not going to happen. It's not going to work."
No.
Um, what do you do when you have people saying stuff that's all negative, you know?
You follow your heart. You just follow
Yeah.
what's good for you. Until anybody's walked in my shoes anymore, I don't really. If I ask for somebody's input, I'll listen to what they have to say. Notice I said input, not opinion.
Mhm.
And if I ask for their input, I'll listen to it, but inevitably I'm going to make my own decision as to what I want to do in any area of my life, not just a love life or anything like that. Karen
Yeah.
says, ignore them. I agree. The hard part is having to do some things alone. Yeah, Dee, you are absolutely right. There are
Mhm.
times where, when it's snowing out and I've had to bring down the garbage by myself or something, that's when I missed having a husband. But okay. Mary agrees. TJ says, you never know. Agree, Helen. Follow your heart. Yes, agreed.
Mhm.
You do you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, 1 minute I want to be in a relationship, and the next minute I'm getting up in the morning, I'm having my coffee by myself, and it's just like, I don't have to talk to anybody. My hair's in a
Yeah.
ponytail on top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, have to let the dogs out. The dog, I don't know if you can hear, but the dog's drinking the water right now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm all over the board. So I think I'll know when I want a relationship when it hits me, but I
Mhm.
don't want to dwell on it. I think a lot of us dwell on such things. I feel like a lot of women try too hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm good with that. But oh, we were talking about communicating. Now it came back to me that in a long distance relationship, I think the communication tends to be better because you want to be more honest because you're so far away. But the only drawback I find is if you can't read somebody's body language, or if somebody's like right now, I'm looking right into the camera, but it looks like I'm looking at you, Lisa. But
Mhm.
you know, if if I look down at you,
Mhm.
you can't see what my eyes are doing. And the eyes are the seat of the soul, where you can tell that somebody's being honest or dishonest or something like
Yeah.
that.
I think
So
when you're in a long distance relationship, if there's an important topic
mhm,
that is not suitable for the phone, text, and
mhm,
it can wait, it should wait. I think certain
mhm,
conversations in any relationship really should be spoken together with,
mhm.
face to face so you can really talk something out.
Absolutely,
Because too much,
absolutely.
and just from experience, you're texting, you're asking questions, you're wondering this, or you want to get an update on this, whatever the case may be. You can't read a text.
No,
And
no.
even if you're on the phone, you may be able to read the voice, but
Mhm.
you're not really communicating. It's just people are responding to, they're reacting, not responding, in other words.
Well, also with the text, long distance communication, I'd rather do it with something like this where you're seeing the person, not even talking on the phone. You want to see the person's face. But with a text, so many things can be misconstrued where you put the cute little emoji, or you make sure you don't put a period because that's kind of like, no, or you put an exclamation point because you're happy. And
Hmm.
I have had so many people, they can misconstrue a text. And it's just like, that's not what I meant. And
Yeah.
yet, you can just get into trouble with that.
Yep.
Okay. Mary says, I would think you both need to be on the same page. Yes. And Dylan says, maybe communication is better because your time together is valuable because you have the distance. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. I would agree with that too. I would
Yep.
agree. So
Absolutely.
we did it again.
We're over. Yeah.
We always plan just to go from 7 to 7:30 because I have a short attention span, and so but sometimes it just gets so interesting. And next Monday, October 2nd at 7 p.m., the topic will be Are Secrets Okay in a Relationship?
That's
So
gonna be a
that will
good
be
one.
interesting. Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
a really good one. And if you have any suggestions for
Hmm.
us, for a topic for us, email us at Lisa&Helen podcast@gmail.com. There
Hmm.
we go. Thank you.
Yep.
If you are interested in doing a podcast and you need an amazing producer, our producer is producer Jace, Jayce, producerjace.com. And you can see us on La La La, Anchor,
Okay.
Spotify,
There you
Apple
go.
Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public.
Yes. Absolutely. Good show. Great comments tonight.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. This was a fun one.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Okay, bye. Hi, Anna. Bye, Anna.